Student visas revoked. Two international students at NC State fled from the country after the State Department revoked their visas. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Deborah Morgan.
And I'm Dan Haggerty. So the university says they were not notified by the federal government before all this took place. WRAL's Chelsea Donovan spoke to the roommate of one of those students and joins us now live. Chelsea?
Yeah, so here on the campus of NC State, there are 6,000 international students from 120 different countries. The majority of them are here on student visas, so it's hard to imagine you come over here to study, suddenly you wake up one morning and your visa is ripped away for no reason. That's what happened to two NC State students late last week, and now they've had to flee back to their home country.
I'm flabbergasted because I think it's just an absolute disgrace.
NC State senior Phil Vasto is speaking out on behalf of his roommate he no longer has.
And the school had informed him that the State Department had revoked his visa. They didn't provide him with any reason whatsoever.
Saul Al-Ghurad packed up in a day and flew back to Saudi Arabia at the advice of his family and attorneys. He just got to the United States and started studying at NC State 5 months ago.
If he remained here, he could be subject to detainment and arrest by ICE.
What we don't want is for a student to overstay a visa and actually be in the United States without documents, without any status.
Immigration attorney Yasina Polanco says the students have no recourse and believes they would become a direct target for ICE.
So we think that it is arbitrary and discretionary.
The terminations come after Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced last Thursday that the State Department had revoked more than 300 student visas. Vasto said his roommate never communicated with the federal government directly, just NC State.
So he had only a few days to get ready to leave the country.
Al-Ghurad was working to get his master's in engineering management and also was a campus dining employee. NC State confirmed that a second student, who Vasto says is also from Saudi Arabia, had their visa terminated too. The university issued this response after news spread throughout the international student body. NC State did not initiate these terminations and was not directly notified of the changes. We're deeply concerned about the lack of communication from federal agencies and the impact of these actions on our international students.
Now, Vasto did say his roommate made it back to Saudi Arabia safely. Now, NC State that said they're also working with these students to see if they can continue their studies abroad. We should mention late this afternoon, I also heard back from the State Department, and they said due to privacy considerations and visa confidentiality, we generally will not comment on department actions with respect to specific cases. All visa applicants, no matter the visa type and where they are located, are continuously vetted, which is interesting because this gentleman who was deported back to Saudi Arabia had just come in this country back in December. Live in Raleigh, Chelsea Donovan, WRAL News.